He was the kind of person people called full of potential. At least, that's what they used to say. He had big dreams, bold ideas, and a quiet hunger to do something meaningful with his life. But most mornings, he stayed in bed longer than he wanted to. Most evenings, he told himself he would start tomorrow. He wasn't careless. He wasn't stupid. And deep down, he wasn't lazy either. Yet, day after day, his ambitions sat untouched while time kept moving. And the hardest part was this. He knew he wanted more, but he felt strangely unable to begin. He was in his early 30s, living in a modest apartment filled with half-finished intentions. A notebook with the first page of a book he dreamed of writing. A pair of running shoes still clean from the store. An online course bookmarked, but never opened again. On the outside, his life looked fine. On the inside, it felt heavy. Every time he thought about changing something, the goal appeared massive, overwhelming, almost impossible. Writing a whole book, getting in shape, turning his finances around. His mind would race ahead to everything that could go wrong, everything that would be uncomfortable, everything that would take effort. So instead, he did what felt easier. He scrolled, he watched, he waited. Each night, he promised himself tomorrow would be different. Each morning, tomorrow slipped further away. He didn't understand why wanting something so badly didn't automatically give him the energy to chase it. He started to believe something was wrong with him. Maybe he just wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe he wasn't built for success. The word lazy crept into his thoughts, and once it arrived, it stayed. One evening, after another day that looked exactly like the one before it, he sat alone and finally faced the question he had been avoiding. Why was starting so hard? He didn't lack desire, he lacked momentum, and slowly a different explanation emerged. It wasn't that he didn't care, it was that his brain was protecting him. Big goals felt like pain, big changes felt like risk. And when something feels too hard, the mind searches for comfort. This wasn't failure, it was wiring. The realization didn't fix everything, but it softened the shame. He began to notice a pattern. Every time he imagined the full weight of his dreams, he froze. The mountain felt too tall, the distance too far. Then he remembered something simple, almost obvious. No one climbs a mountain in one leap. They take one step, then another. He decided to test this idea, not tomorrow. That night he opened the notebook and wrote one sentence, just one. It wasn't good, it wasn't perfect, but it existed, and something unexpected happened. He felt a small spark of relief. The next day, he tried another experiment. Instead of promising himself a full workout, he put his shoes by the bed. That was it. When he woke up, the shoes were there, waiting. He didn't run miles. He stepped outside for a few minutes. His heart didn't change. His body didn't transform. But his identity shifted, just slightly. He was no longer someone who never started. He was someone who had begun. Over time, these small actions started to stack. He learned not to rely on motivation, because motivation came and went. Instead, he built tiny routines that made starting easier. He discovered the power of the smallest promise possible. 2 minutes. That was all he asked of himself. 2 minutes of writing. 2 minutes of movement. 2 minutes of focus. Most days, once he started, he kept going. Some days, he didn't, and that was okay. The rule was simple. Showing up mattered more than finishing strong. Slowly, the fear attached to his goals began to fade. They no longer felt like threats. they felt like directions. He stopped calling himself lazy. He started seeing himself as someone learning how to move again. There were still setbacks. There were still quiet evenings where progress felt invisible. But the difference was this: he no longer stopped completely. Each small win reminded him that effort did not have to be painful to be powerful. His dreams didn't need dramatic bursts of energy. They needed consistency wrapped in kindness. So here is what he practiced every day in the simplest way possible. He made things small. When a task felt heavy, he broke it down until it felt almost too easy. He created gentle routines that removed friction before it appeared. And when starting felt impossible, he used the 2-minute rule: just begin, just show up. He rewarded himself for starting, not for finishing. A deep breath, a quiet moment of pride. These rewards taught his brain that action was safe, that effort was not punishment. Over time, starting stopped feeling scary. It started feeling natural. The truth he learned was simple and freeing. Small steps beat big intentions. He repeated it often, especially on hard days. Small steps beat big intentions. Because success was never about being perfect. It was about being consistent enough to keep the spark alive. His dreams were not gone. They were waiting, and every small action was fuel. If this story touched something in you, take one small step today, and if it helped, like, share, and subscribe so someone else can begin to